Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Mars sextile or trine one's natal sun. Now, this transit may manifest in courage, action, initiative, drive, motivation, energy, vitality. These things can be in harmony with your basic wants and what you want in life. I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. Well, the thing is, you may have, it's about having more of the energy to actually to focus on what you want in your life. If you have your natal sun in the zodiac sign Cancer like me, it might be matters pertaining with home, family, even introverted activities, doing things that are nostalgic, that are tied in with history. It could be simply researching family history as some examples. It could be also, um, Sun is connected with the physical body, and Mars is associated with their physical strength. So this is a good time, very auspicious, I would say, for doing things that require a physical effort, having the energy and vitality in order to do so. If you have your natal sun, even if you just have if Taurus is involved in this transit, it could be something with construction or architecture. Um, it may be something too, or something that requires endurance, like something like working out vigorously. Uh, it could be a time to keep in mind the sun is associated with the biological father and children. So this is a time where you likely are more motivated, more driven for activities with these people more so than usual, and having the physical, the energy, the vitality in order to do things with these people. I mean, say if the natal sun is in Scorpio, it could be a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that simply embodies Scorpio characteristics. It may also be a time to, when you have this transit, it's a time where you could express courage and fortitude and be able to do so without coming across as overly, I guess you could say, forceful, overly aggressive. It's about trying to do things um, where you have more of that the energy for doing things that require certain courage and also taking the initiative on matters. The sun is about our life, so it could be about taking initiative, action in matters pertaining to your life. It could be matters that are associated again with the biological father and children, if you do have any, if applicable. And the sun is about shining, where we want to stand out. And I mean, if you have your natal sun in Leo as an example, it could be matters with entertainment, acting. It could be doing things you know as far as could be product demonstrations, something where you've got to boast about the product. Basically, the military is some examples. It could be a creative endeavor. It can be something associated with sales and advertising because Leo likes to build things up and can accentuate the positive in things. And could also be a time to where you have the ability more having drive and motivation to be focused on just things in general in your life at this time. If natal sun says in Sagittarius, it could be maybe it has to do with the printing press. If you're a printing press operator, or something with publishing or advertising, even something sports related. In some cases, the sun is also about our attention, which is really our focus and attention. And it's a time too um, where you have if you have this time, you know, something you have to do that requires that intense concentration, that focus, that attention at this time. It's a time where you're willing, you're going to have more, that stamina, that energy in order to do so. And it could also be a time to where sexual partners are, if applicable, are going to be, can show more compatibility, in your basic character. If you have your natal sun in Taurus, it could be the basic character. May be very patient, persistent, persevering, industrious, trustworthy, as some examples. Um, it can also be a time, now keep in mind, anatomically speaking, the sun is associated with the heart, the upper back, the spine, and the right or left eye, depending on gender. So it's a time where you could say you'd be willing, more likely than not, to take action in these matters if you have any issues that are anatomically connected with the sun that I just described. It's more about a time to have that enterprise taking action in these matters. And the thing is, it's more, I mean, this Mars is also has a connection with exuberance and enthusiasm, so it's a time where you actually may be more enthusiastic about doing something about these problems. If you have procrastinated in some time, this is on taking care of these issues. If you do have any of them, that this could be the time that you would, more likely than not deal with them, as opposed to many other transits. Now, the sun also has a connection with our vitality and energy, and so does Mars. So again, this is a time which could be very auspicious for doing things just in general that require physical strength and energy at this time. And it's also a time, I mean, the sun, being connected with the biological father and children, and Mars is associated with courage and fortitude. These people, the biological father and children, may be more basically in harmony. Any actions you've expressed that shows courage in their eyes or fortitude, they're more apt to admire it this time. This, as far as that goes, more so than many other transits. Now, the thing too is, the sun is also connected with action, and so is Mars. So this could be a time, it could be very action oriented for you in general, and you may be able to accomplish a good amount of things, projects, endeavors, what have you, during this time, more so than usual, because it is very action oriented. And the fact that the sun is about focus, it can also give an ability to focus, I would say, on one thing at a time and not be scattered and going in a lot of different directions simultaneously. Of course, if you have your natal sun in Gemini or Pisces, it may modify that a little, but there's more of a chance for a follow through, I would say, because you have Mars, the transit of Mars, which is about action, it's activity, and the sun is about our focus and attention. And it's a time where you can do things, I would say, and be able to follow through on things, because it is the planet connected with our focus and our attention. And another thing too is that the sun is also connected with drive and motivation, as is Mars. So this is also a period where you could be exceptionally driven and motivated to accomplish things. If you have your, say your natal sun is in Aquarius, those things may be associated. I mean, sun is what you want. It's it could be things that may drive you and motivate you, and maybe matters that are group related or something with astrology or astronomy or computers, innovation, electronics, as some examples. This transit could be about having the drive and motivation, or having the energy to do things that drive and motivate you. And the thing too is the sun, this is also a time where you could have the physical energy to be able to really be dominant. I mean, the sun is about shining. This is not about domination to the point where you romp over others, or people are rebuffed by it. It could be dominating a sporting event. Say if the natal sun is in Sagittarius, it could be something with sports or athletics, or more specifically in sports, something with archery or darts, as some examples, or it could be horse racing. And this is a time too where it could be one of much confidence and self-assuredness. Hold on a moment, people. This could be a transit where you more likely can take action and be more confident and self-assured as far as the results and what's going to actually happen as a result um, of these actions. Now, it could also be a time, another way this transit can manifest, it could be where you have the drive and motivation, which is Mars, to express yourself creatively, which is the Sun. Now, let's say, for example, if the Sun is in Pisces in the fifth house, it could be through, fantasy or hypothetical, which is Pisces, sports or games, which is the fifth house. It could be designing fantasy games as an example. Another thing too is it could also be very auspicious and positive for having vitality, which is Mars, to do what you want, just the Sun. Let's say, for example, if the natal Sun is in Aquarius in the 12th house, it could be simply providing tech labs, which would be associated with Aquarius for the less fortunate, such as inner city children, which is the 12th house. Now, also, too, it could be a time where a sex partner, if applicable, which is Mars, could be more in harmony with what you want to shine in. Shining is the Sun. If the natal Sun is in Sagittarius, it could be shining in sports, comedy, humor, college, as some examples. Could be scholastic activities in higher education. And this transit could also be very propitious to take action, which is Mars, in your life, which is the Sun. If the Sun is in a zodiac sign Cancer, it could be a life that's dominated by introversion and home and family. And it might be wanting to do something, career related, as an example, that's associated with the zodiac sign Cancer, like plumbing, or cooking, culinary work, restaurant work, home renovation, remodeling, roofing, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.